Okay, we're going to talk about Joseph today, but I want to start here in Isaiah 55:8. And the Lord says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Okay, now we're going to talk about Joseph here. I'm in Genesis 37. I'm going to start here at 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him. They hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. Joseph, he dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet more. You see a bunch of hate here. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood around about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. Yeah. So we see right here that this man was hated of his brothers because I guess you could say he's chosen, that he's hated. I want you to remember he's hated. Okay. Now this is another time he's coming to his brothers again. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. Now they're wanting to kill him. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer comes. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into the pit. And we will say some evil beast has devoured him. Well, anyway, one of the brothers say, well, we can't kill him. Well, now they're saying this. It come to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. So now I guess you can say they kind of robbed him, right? Now they're saying this. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him. Now they're they're wanting to sell him to the Ishmaelites. And let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. So they sold Joseph into Egypt here, as you can see, for not a whole lot of money, 20 pieces of silver. Okay, Genesis 39:2 here. So now he's sold into Egypt. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptians, and his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hands. So out of this bad situation, you can already see God is working on his side. Okay, everything's prospering in his hand. And now his master's wife is trying to get him to sleep with her, and he keeps refusing. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in this house, and he has committed all that he has into my hands. See, he's faithful right here. He keeps saying nope, nope, nope. But yeah, now he's being framed. The framing is in the process anyway. He keeps saying, no long enough, that she called unto men of her house and spoke unto them, saying, See, he has brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. She's pretty much saying she's yelling rape or whatever, I guess you can kind of say. Well, anyway, here's the framed. He's being framed right here. And his brothers wanted to kill him. Now he's being framed by a chick. And let's see. Okay, now Joseph, from the accusation from the girl, Joseph's master took him and he put him in the prison now, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph. It don't matter what situation this man got in, the Lord was with Joseph. And it's because he talked to the Lord, he prayed to the Lord, and he believed what God has said to him all the time. Yes, the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keepers of the prison. Everywhere Joseph falls in here, he keeps finding favor. And no matter what happens to him. So a person doesn't know why God put you in a place. It's not wise to even talk or complain about it because we have no clue what God is doing in our lives. Okay, well, Joseph's in prison. He's in there with a couple guys that used to work for Pharaoh. That's how I take it. And they dreamed, and he could tell them the interpretation of their dreams, and they were true. So here Pharaoh started having dreams. Oh, yeah, he's been in prison a whole 2 full years here. Ain't that something? But it said God was with him for a whole 2 full years and pretty much made him over the prison while he was there. Okay, so now here Pharaoh starts having dreams, and he needs somebody to tell him what they mean. And it come to pass at the end of the 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And it goes through this long dreams here, and he's talking about 7 years of plentiful and 7 years of famine that will end up happening to Pharaoh in Egypt. And he pulls Joseph out of the prison so he can interpretate those dreams that tell him what's going to happen. The 7 years of good and then the 7 years of hardly nothing. So he once again finds favor with Pharaoh. Okay, this really don't go with what I'm talking about, but I don't know, I just found it interesting and I wanted to throw it in here. It said for that the dream was double unto Pharaoh twice. He had the dream twice. It is because the king is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. I don't know why, I wanted to share that part. Yeah, so he tells him the dream. He tells him what the dream means. So Pharaoh's like, well, thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy words shall all my people be ruled. So now he's made him ruler over Egypt. The only one, he's right under Pharaoh. Only in the throne will I be greater than you. Ain't that something? He went to prison for 2 years. Now he's brought out to rule this place. I mean, it's so amazing. After he's brought out of prison and he's made ruler by Pharaoh, he's even has 2 sons born here in Egypt. There were born 2 sons before the year of famine came. And let's see. He said, and Joseph called the name of the firstborn, for God said, He has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the second he called Ephraim, for God has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Ain't that something? I mean, he was sold here by his brothers that wanted to kill him, and he's ruling Egypt now, and he has 2 sons here. Okay, now the same brothers that wanted to kill him and threw him in that pit and got him sold. Now Jacob is this guy's dad that I'm talking about, Joseph's dad. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, because the famine now was bad, they're in the 7 years now of famine. They were in 7 years of plenty, now they're in the famine area. He saw that there's corn in Egypt. Jacob said unto his sons, why don't you look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there's corn in Egypt. Get you down there and buy for us from there, and we may live and not die. Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy corn in Egypt. They left Benjamin at home. He was the baby of the bunch. They left him at home because his dad really, really loved him too. So, okay, so Joseph's brothers, they did go down like their dad told them to, down to Egypt to get corn. Now Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them. They didn't know him. And spoke roughly to them, and he said unto them, whence come you? And they said, well, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. Yeah, they're standing there talking to Joseph. They don't know that it's him. But, Joseph knows that it's his brothers. They knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spoke unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simon and bound him. See, now he's going to start kind of, I guess you would say, kind of messing with their heads for a while. I'm going to skip a lot of this just to get to my point, but it goes through a long ordeal here. But, I can see forgiveness already happening here in Joseph. I mean, he turned himself about from him, and he wept. Ain't that something? These people sold him, and they wanted to kill him. It's something. Well, anyway, it goes through a long story, and Joseph, he ends up getting all of his brothers to come to Egypt. You can read it for yourself. That's what everybody needs to do anyway. But he managed to get all of his brothers to Egypt. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to cry. Here he goes crying again, forgiving. And he entered into his chamber, and he wept there. And then he washes off his face. He went out. He refrained himself, and then he has a dinner with them. See, all this stuff that happened to Joseph, you could tell he was a godly man because he wasn't ignorant of what, I guess, that it was going to work in his favor eventually with God, because God does things we don't do things like God. Like he said, his thoughts are higher than ours. And he says, now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves that you sold me here. For God did send me before you to preserve life. Ain't that something? For these 2 years has the famine been in the land, and yet there's 5 years left in that which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. God did all of this to save their lives. This story goes on, and he gets his dad there. They're all there in Egypt now. And this is where God made a promise to make a big nation out of Abraham, and it goes on until it gets to here, and these are the 12 tribes of Israel that it's talking about that are now in Egypt, and they become a big old people while they're in Egypt here. So God did exactly what he said he would do, and by the way he did it, like if this stuff happens to me and you, we might want to cuss God. Like, why are we going to jail? Why are we, things happen. Things happen. We don't understand why they happen, but they happen. They happen. And I'm going to give you a verse to back it up. Okay, this is Romans 8:28 here. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. For who he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed into the image of his Son. It sums it up. He foreknew Joseph, he foreknew Abraham, he foreknew all these people, and he had a plan, and his plan would not fail. And like I said, when bad things happen, I wouldn't judge too harshly. You don't know the outcome at the end. That's what I'm going to say, and it makes me feel good to say it. I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, and I know that things do work for the good to them that love God. So that's my deal for the day, and I hope you like it. I hope you get something out of it. It blessed me, and thank you for listening or watching or what have you. And God bless you, and oh yeah, have a relationship with God. Don't forget that part. Pray, talk with him. Get in his word if you can. Read every day if possible, but please pray and talk with him. He wants that. God bless you, and later.